Evening and welcome to the MSME panel on the discussion on a topic which everyone wants to know, but very few have the ability to know about it. That is financial services, digitalization, and banking services, especially for MSMEs. But I think everyone needs to know this topic. It is a pleasure to welcome our MC members, advisors, past presidents, HMA members, the participants who are on this platform, and also viewing us live. Our convener for MSME, Mr. Petty Rajendra Krishna Prasad, Vice President, Mr. Ramchandar, HMA Secretary, Dr. Ravi Kumar Jain, welcoming our panelists who are Mr. Lakshmi Narsimhamurthy, Mr. MD Sandeep, Mr. Balbeen Vaidya, who is also a life member and advisor for this year, Ms. Gunjan Kaur Jabal, and last but not the least, I welcome our President, Ms. Kavita Rajesh, who I request to take this meeting forward.
Thank you, Geeta. Very good evening to all and happy Navaratri. And it's a great honor to see the eminent panelists today, and most of them, yes, been associated with us. And Gunjan, First Lady Speaker, and Gunjan Kaur, being a Vice President Business at SME Banking, Open Asia first neo-banking platform for SME and startup. It's a great to have a woman on board with a leading position. Congratulations, madam. It's my pleasure and honor to see Mr. Lakshmi Narsimhamurthy, founder and CEO of Nishibees. And it was great to hear him earlier, and it's really our honor to get him back again. And Mr. Sandeep, partner and consultant from FinCare Advisor LLP, and Balbeen Vaidya Garu, Assistant General Manager, State Bank of India, and our MC member. So it's a great honor, sir. Thank you for accepting our invite. And as you know, MSME is the backbone of our country, and we need this financial assistance all through our lives as long as MSMEs have to sustain. I welcome you on behalf of Hyderabad Management Association. Hyderabad Management Association was conceptualized 56 years ago in 1964. And it is an oldest body by a few dozens of dedicated young managers who felt the need that young managers of twin cities of Hyderabad and Secunderabad for developing managerial skills among young executives and spreading the message of professionalism among young practicing managers with the involvement of academia and industry. And that is where we can see Hyderabad Management Association has grown leaps and bounds today, and a 57-year-old body, which is very strong with eminent personalities like we have scientists, academicians, industry. It's a perfect collaboration of everyone together on board. Activities of HMA, we provide various platforms for professional academician and management students to stay abreast of contemporary management practices and even shaping the professionals and its emerging challenge. We do plethora of activities, like we do evening lecture meetings similar to this, and we do conduct lots of MDPs, management development programs, which enhancing the skills of the managers also. And also we do SDPs, student development programs, and FDPs, faculty development programs. So if you see, we are in all walks of the training aspects of it. And apart from that, we also conduct various programs like IRP, Indian Industry Readiness Program. And this is the third industry readiness program, which is going to launch this month. And students have taken the benefit of it, and it has immensely satisfied the students when they're going for corporate jobs for the interviews and all. And we are also collaborating with the various business schools for business certificate programs. HMA is getting into it, and we have also started various initiations at HMA like MSME desk, where we felt the MSME needs the support of the bankers and market and all. We are trying to create these opportunities for MSME. And I request all the participants also to utilize this desk in collaboration with KP Foundation. KP Foundation is giving a consultancy services to HMA members for getting them through the mentorship programs, helping them to evaluate their projects and all. We have the best of the cost accountants with us and chartered accountant with us to help us to go through the project report also. We have our international desk, which links the institutions and corporates for international universities for internships and international trade opportunities for corporates and industry also. Besides, tie up with different consulates on cultural exchange and technology through speakers meetings. So we are also having the international desk is conducting a program for on 21st October. This is through the US consulate for the students to get benefited and give an awareness of the universities across America to please utilize this platform, because it is directly from the consulate, which will help you to know which are the universities. You need not tap any consultant or anything. Any doubts can be cleared over there. So that is its kind, and we have major collaborations for this from scientists, the principal sponsor, and we are also looking for sponsorships, and we are also looking for major collaboration with international desk or social impact desk. We are doing, see, as we know that we are all aware of the social impact, what is happening today, because we need to be environmental conscious and all. So the social impact desk of ours is also taking new initiations like water harvesting and saving the environment and all. So I request whoever is interested can join us to make a bigger impact. All India, we are associated with All India Management Association. Hyderabad Management Association is affiliated to IMA, New Delhi. IMA associate with HMA to conduct regular and joint programs at Hyderabad. So this is in brief about HMA, and I would request our convener, Mr. Rajendra Krishna Prasad Garu, to please introduce our speakers and to take this forward. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Good evening, our HMA President Kavita Garu, and our Vice President Ramchandra Garu, and Honorable Secretary Ravikumar Jain Garu, and our fellow MC members, and our esteemed HMA members, and today guest speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege and honor to introduce today our guest speakers about a topic on financial services and banking services and digitalization. In this webinar, we are going to give and I think this is the first time we were having a first time 4 people are discussing in the first year this year. And as you all know that, finance is a catalyst, and finance management is a very core management technique to run to start a business or to run a business or to scale the business. So in this phenomena, we should update as such, like what are the latest technologies in this digital era. So in this connection, HMA and MSME desk decided to bring about 4 eminent speakers in this particular area. Like one on the digitalization of the enterprise, and second on business banking model and credit rating, and third on government schemes about for MSMEs, and the fourth one is the happening in the society right now in the globally is that's a neo banking system. That's a total package, one-stop solution for all the enterprises at one place. And to have, luckily, all the eminent people are joined here. We made a small capsule-like presentation. Like in 1 hour, it's very short time for them to express their thoughts, but they will share their mobile number and email address. Later on, all the participants who are interested, they can contact them. Okay, I will go for a chronicle order. Like first, I will go for a digitalization speaker. Next, I will go for the bank branding speaker, like business model presenter. And third, we'll have an SBI speaker who is going to speak on government schemes and policies. Finally, we have Open Financial Services Company Vice President. So I'll just read chronicle order about that particular biodata, and they can also give a presentation according to about 15 minutes time each. And our coordinator of webinar, he will be changing the co-hosting when the speaker presentation is over. Okay. Now I'll first speaking about Lakshmi Narasimhamurthy. Lakshmi Narasimhamurthy Garu is a co-founder and CEO of Nichi's Techno Solution, the Nichi provider of business consulting and digital transformation services to manufacturing industries. Over the last 2 decades, he has worked with small and medium scale customers, enterprises, providing a consulting on ERP and advanced planning and scheduling solutions to solve their business and business problems. He has worked across different industry verticals of manufacturing, high-tech electronics, and retail across Asia, Europe. He is a co-founder of Niche Brains also, a MSc-focused digital transformation platform to enable MSMEs adopt new digital technologies to address business challenges in operation and sales. Lakshmi is an Inseed alumnus and executive learning coach for a digital strategy and innovation program in Inseed. He is going to talk more on the digitalization part. Next, we have Mr. MD Sandeep Garu. He is a professional manager in business and business consultancy coach who has been into the financial advisory services to companies with limits about 20 crores INR. He is an expert in strategy design and execution. He is a problem solver and efficient in crisis management, expert in data-driven decision-making, and can adapt quickly to any administrative requirement. His clientele varies from infrastructure, real estate, pharma, international trading, textile, agro, and allied products. Having worked with a wide variety of clients from various sectors, he gave a wide exposure to different strategical situations. His interest areas are entrepreneurship, MSME consulting, credit rating advisory, business communication, B2B marketing, and leadership. He is a founder and a partner with Mrs. Finance Care Advisors LLP. Now, the third speaker is Sri Balbim Vaidya. He is an assistant general manager from SBI. He born in 1963 and he's got about 30 years of experience in the SBI. And he has a vast and diverse experience of having in important fields such as credit, general banking, personal banking, etc. Instrumental in handling the portfolio of 400 crores as head of SME sector Secunderabad during 2017 to 2019. Very many initiatives such as the driver empowerment program or Tricor financing of hairstylists for setting up a saloon trained by noted hairstylist Javed Habib, Startup India, Mudra financing, etc. SME sector Secunderabad under the leadership has been continuously getting 5-star rating and among us the top 5 pan-India, presently handling the role of undertaking TEV studies, government sponsored schemes like e-Mudra, Mudra PMEGs, SUI, CGTMSC in Hyderabad sector. Finally, we have Gunjan Kaur Jabbar, Vice President and Business Head, SME Business at Open Asia, first neo-banking platform for SMEs and startups. Gunjan has close to 9 years of working experience in leading fintech firms. She is a fintech enthusiast and a firm believer of adding value to the SMB and startup community to fuel their growth. Prior to joining to Open, she has worked with PayU Payments and Indian e-payments entity in India tech process. She is adopting a strategic initiative, new client acquisition, building market-driven financial solution for SMEs. She is also certified Green Belt Six Sigma professional and is a proficient in incident management. It's my privilege and honor to invite all the eminent speakers to start their presentation. First, I request Nasimurthy Garu to begin with the session with his presentation on digitalization. Thank you. Nasimurthy Garu, please.
Thank you, Mr. Rajendra Krishna Prasad Garu. Just give me a moment so I can share my screen. So I need to be given permission to share the screen. Okay, great.
Karthik?
Yeah, it's been given. So are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. So very good evening to everyone and all the dignitaries of HMA and fellow panelists. It's my pleasure to be given an opportunity to share my thoughts on MSME digital transformation. So let me just start off with a quick introduction on what we do in NicheBrains. So NicheBrains is an experts transformation platform to connect micro, small, medium enterprises who are looking for advice on strategy, marketing, cost reduction, leveraging technology with experts in those fields at a very minimal cost and also on demand. So in our platform, MSMEs can prioritize and also have a complete ownership of their business outcomes as well. So that's a very brief about it. So let me just start off without no further delay. I would like to start off with a question. What comes to your mind when you hear the word digital transformation? So you might be hearing about technology, digitalization, digital transformation. There are so many aspects we keep hearing today. So when, if possible, I would love to have some answers being shared. So what comes to your mind when you hear a word like a digital transformation or anything in digital? I would love to hear if we can take some 10 seconds to share your views on the chat box that is provided, if it is possible. We keep hearing the word. The digital transformation is more like a buzzword that we keep hearing it. So just thought from your own words, if you have any experience of what, according to you, is the digital transformation. So we have an answer. We have few people answering it. So please feel free to answer using the chat box. I also know that I have a very limited time. So normally this will be more like these kind of session goes in an offered mode. So I'll try to be as much as possible. See, digital transformation, people always think about implementing a technology, ERP, cloud, IoT. There are a lot of technology centric words we keep hearing when you talk about digital transformation. But however, digital transformation is much beyond that. So digital transformation is always about coming up with a vision and strategy that can span across multi years and realizing through the technology. So the first part of digital transformation is about transformational thinking. So that is what I would say. Then only comes the technology like ERP, CRM, and other aspects. So now what happens is that depending on the size of the industry, depending on, let's say, if you're a micro industry, you might be having a revenue from less than a crore to probably 10 crores or so. So if you are falling in that category or beyond that, depending on where you are in terms of size, in terms of priority, you can classify these digital transformation from the perspective of digitization or a digitalization or a digital transformation. So let me just explain this. What does we mean? What do we mean by digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation with an example? Let's say that you're using a marketing brochure which talks about your company, which talks about what you do, what services you provide. Normally, about, let's say, 15 years back, or even now also, majority of the people, they send it as a presentation or they send it as a brochure in an event, another thing. Just imagine changing that marketing brochure to an online presence. Now what happens is that you are, whatever was there in a physical format, you are digitizing it. You don't have to reproduce time and again. There is one place on the web where information about your company is present. That is the basic form of digitization. Of course, whatever you are doing in a physical world, digitizing and capturing it in a digital format is called digitization, which also means capturing data about all about that talks about your business. So that is the first step. Now once again, if you don't even have a website, the first step is also to have those website on. Or if you are not capturing a data about your customers or other aspects of your business, it's important that you start capturing as a first step in terms of when you in the journey of digital transformation. The second is that when we talk about digitalization, what we do normally, we follow a process when we are executing a shop floor order or when we purchase certain things. We give a paper. There is a paper process. There will be a one person who approve an order. There are few people who has to go and purchase. There are various steps are involved. Now imagine these steps are done manually. Now when you are able to digitalize, when you are able to do this online, when you are using it through a system and capturing them in a single place using an application which can be an enterprise resource planning, which is called ERP, or a CRM, depending on the type of functional needs are there, then what we are getting into is that we are getting into a place where we are not only capturing the data, but also automating the process. And by automating the process, you have all the department having a single version of truth. That is the second level of I would say digital transformation. The third level is always the final one is about digital transformation. Now, what we say in digital transformation is about, let's say that you are selling a physical book. Your way of making money is through selling actually the physical book. Now you change that into an electronic format. Now what you do is that you're not selling a physical book, but rather you are selling an electronic book. And sometimes if I have to take a other part of it is some of the tire manufacturers, which is into automotive, they used to sell tires. Now, instead of selling tires as a unit of sale, they now started selling, they give the tires as free of cost, but they sell the number of hours the vehicle has traveled, the tire has traveled, and based on which you charge the customer. So you're changing the way you monetize, the way you add value to your customer. It's called digital transformation. Now, what are the benefits? So what benefits that we have when we go through these various stages, depending on where you are on the digital transformation journey? Number one is that it increases visibility. It helps you, the organization helps to get a single version of truth. The second one is once you are online, what happens is that you are able to expand into new market. You are able to reach to one newer clients by just simply changing a marketing brochure from a physical to a website. What happens? Now you have the ability to broadcast your message across the globe at a fraction of a cost. The third aspect is that when you're able to do this in a successful way, you also have the ability to increase revenue and reduce cost. And of course, when you're able to think about transforming, we can also talk about launching new product. All these are fine. There is huge amount of benefits are there. But let me also start the second question. Please feel free to answer. What is the objective of any technology initiative that we do? Any technology, we think about even creating a website or even going for an enterprise applications like a ERP or a CRM system. The main objective, we always think that to increase the revenue or reduce the cost or bring in some better working environment. These are some of the things that we do. But do we really realize the benefits out of any technology, any initiative with which we started off with? So this is a common formula that we normally call it. It's the common trap, because we think that by implementing a technology, we will be able to achieve many things. But what happens? I call this IT is more like a technology initiative. And OO is nothing but your old organization before the technology comes into picture. Now, what happens is that if you're going to put in new technology, but with the old organization, what you're getting into is what we call as EOO, which is nothing but expensive old organization. That's where you see that many people complain that even after implementing a lot of new technology initiative, they see that they have incurred a lot of cost, but they have not really recovered any return on investment out of it. So it's important that before you go into any initiative where you are investing, it's about where you are in your journey of digital transformation, where you are in your technology adoption. This is one part. The second is also important is that if the first stage of is always you need to start with digitization, which is about capturing key information about your business, which is what we call it as capture of your data. Now it could be anywhere. It could be about your how you are selling, how frequently you are selling, how much customers are getting acquired. These are all in a small organization. It's there with the founders, in mind or in some Excel somewhere. Centralizing that, making sense out of it is the first step. The second step is about automating the processes, so you are able to see how efficiently you are able to responding to the changes or what kind of a challenges you are facing in different departments. Then only you can think about digital transformation. And of course, depending on your how disruptive your organizations are, I'm sure that there will be a situation where your organization is complete, your industry is completely getting disrupted, and your product or services are getting obsolete. In such cases, all these three you might need to do it pretty faster, or in some cases you will have certain time to evolve as well. So you need to also assess not just about your own organization, but also about how your industry is shaping up. So let me just take a quick case study or the experience that we have. So one of the pump manufacturer where we worked, I'm sure that the last 18 months, many of the traditional manufacturing and many of the traditional customer acquisition channel has gone really not really useful. So he has also lost all his traditional customer whom we used to go and talk. So now what was his objective is to acquire new customers and also get new deals as well, because he has a fixed manufacturing. So we came up with a digital marketing initiative. So he didn't even have a website. So what we did, it's not just about having a website, but how that website can be your potential marketing tool. So we optimized for search engine optimization, where are his customers are there, and how we can reach out to this customer, and how the website can capture the lead. So it's not just about creating a website, but how you can use your website to capture important client relationship as well. So with this simple initiative, the customer was able to see a 200% higher lead capturing rate, and also more than 50% of it conversion rate as well. This is one case we can talk about. The second one is a little bit more advanced one, which is about he's a little bit bigger customer. His challenge was he has like more than 2/3 as an inventory cost. So he was able to optimize his supply chain and also optimize his inventory cost. So what we did, we started with he has to look at very other ERP system as well. When he came to us and then engaged with some of our consultants, what we identified, the problem is not with the system. The problem with it was with the process. The problem is about the practices that he was following. So by working together with this team, we were able to optimize the supply chain. And with the simple data analytics initiative, we are able to optimize the suppliers and how they are performing, and also how they are able to supply and then make sure that they are able to deliver in time, and we are able to reduce the inventory. These are some of the small case studies we have, but there are many other use cases with which MSMEs can think about. With a very, very minimal investment, they can think about digitalizing their operations and also the customer relationship. They don't really need to have a huge amount of budget, but can we just start doing immediately and then start thinking about digitalization? I would say that you need to have a structured process. And summarizing it quickly, what at a high level, what we need to really think about it is, irrespective of the size of the organization, each of us, we always think that if we have financial strength, we will be able to get to a certain stage. But when you have a solid strategy for the next 3 to 5 years, then add that with your financial strength, that's where you will be much more successful, because the industry landscape is changing. The there is the the digital transformation is no longer a question of when, but it's more about how soon you can do it. So it's important that MSMEs need to think about having a clear vision of how they need to transform, and then coming out with a clear strategy and goals, and percolating that into various initiatives spanned across different time periods based on where they are on the digital journey, and prioritize them and do a pilot and before scaling it up. This is a very high level picture of it. And normally when any organization comes to us, we start with, where do we start? It's always setting the vision is the first. We all think that we all know how to set a vision. And in the changing industry landscape, we also need a lot of new tools to have a vision. So it's about having an ambition, and also you need to focus on the core business, and also think about having what are your growth area, which is the second, and also what is your moonshot or a long term goal, which is 2+ years. A typical organization which thinks about having a mobility company has an objective and key KPIs which are set for the current business, and also thinks about what are the growth areas that they need to be thinking about, which is probably 6+ months time period, and what they need to focus probably 2+years, which is exploring. So by having this clarity of vision and mapping that with various initiative, they will be very much successful. And also this digital era needs a lot of new skills to be developed, which is about having a right customer focus and being able to learn fast and adapt. And also it's not that you need to be know about software, but more about know about what can be of helpful, and think about building strength through partnership. And finally, be ambidextrous. Ambidextrous means about having the ability to focus on your core business while you have the ability to expand to the newer business areas itself. Now this is where niche brains comes and then helps in. Your need can be in the area of strategy or reduction of cost and operations, or acquiring customers, or even launching new products. So we provide expert advice or tools that you can use, key insights, and getting the global experts who are specialists in various initiatives. They can come and then help you out. And also we conduct monthly workshops specific to specific industry vertical experts. And if you want to come with us, it's a very simple questionnaire. I would also share this in the chat box, which you can just need to fill up, and then we can have a conversation and then take it forward. And finally, let me end this with it. We talked about expensive old organization. If we need to really have an exponentially growing organization, what you need to first think about it, what are the organizational transformation you need to think about? The new goals, new strategy has to emerge, which is in tune with changing industry. Realize them with technology initiative so that your productivity and competitiveness can increase. This is in simple is what we think about as more digitalization and digital transformation. And I would like to take this opportunity to thanks all the HMA member for this opportunity through a short presentation. I wish I could spend more time to explain each slide and more details and also have a lot of hands-on, but due to the paucity of time, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your time and patience, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have in the question and answer session as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Murthy garu. We have a question answer session at the panel of the fourth speaker, sir. We'll have definitely about 10 minutes to there. We'll take the questions during the time. Now I request Mr. Sandeep garu to take up the session of on financial services and business banking model.
You're on mute.
Sandeep garu?
Yeah, thank you for HMA for having all of us here. Thank you, Rajendra garu. Thank once again, Lakshmi garu. You did great. It's always a pleasure to learn new use cases from you. Before I start my presentation, I would like to understand. I was asked to just brief about basics of financial instruments, especially types of exposures, limits, what MSMEs usually would like to access through financial institutions. So we have term loans, working capital, and LC, maybe a England LC or a foreign LC, and bank guarantees. If any aspiring entrepreneur or an MSME has a good understanding of how this instruments works, it will be a very good performance that he can gather over the years in terms of financial agility or trying to reduce the work of cost of capital and increase his operations. So a term loan, we use it for capital expenditures, whether it is a greenfield or a brownfield project. Working capital, be it for our current monthly expenses, and LC we use it for our players elsewhere or in England. So bank guarantees, usually when we are bidding for tenders, we use this performance guarantee or financial guarantee. With that brief introduction, let me share my screen.
Yeah, Karthik. Karthik.
I think I can share only my.
You can share, sir. You have the permission.
Yeah.
Able to share only my. Sorry, I'm unable to share my system, but only the browser. Okay, so that brings me. Can you all see my screen, please? Can someone?
You can press this.
Can someone confirm? Yeah. Can you see my screen, please?
Yeah, we can screen, but a different one.
Okay, yeah.
But,
Sandeep, your screen is seen, but when you open the file only, it will be better. Yeah.
I opened it, sir.
Yeah, we are able to see your WhatsApp page.
WhatsApp page only. Yeah, that's what.
I'm unable to share my system.
yeah,
Sandeep, why don't you mail it to Karthik? He will.
It is there with
Karthik. Yeah. I think Karthik can share it.
I'm able to share only my browser. That's why I'm not able to share my system.
Can you forward it, sir? I will share it. I'm just putting you in the chat.
I regret the inconvenience.
My email ID, I'm putting you in the chat, sir.
Oh, it is there with Rajendra.
Acha, morning I given it to Karthik. I send you the thing, you know.
One second, no problem.
Oh, yeah. Technology. Give me 1 minute, sir. I will start sharing it, sir.
Fine. Before Karthik can share it, I'll continue with my presentation. What we come across a lot of MSME businesses when they approach any financial institution for any to raise any of the funds. First thing is the timing is wrong. They are not completely aware why they need funds and where it is going to be utilized. So in that context, we understood there is something we talk about the session in two types. One first thing is how you can make a compelling business case to financial institutions. At the same time, as of now, what are the latest changes that have taken place in terms of rating a proposal or a company by financial institutions? So let me go through.
Yeah.
I
think it is. They're sharing. He's sharing it now. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing in the bank, so we developed a model which is called bankable business framework. So the three key parameters which we consider in terms of building a bankable business model is products, people, and process. So first thing, products. We all know we are in the current geopolitical situations. We are placed well to be globally known economy for manufacturing hubs. The other services or other growth factors will come only when the manufacturing happens. So we have to understand that first. So we moved very much from agriculture directly to services with not much growth aspects happening in manufacturing. So it is we have that opportunity. We once again got that opportunity to be a manufacturing hub for the world. So to do that, our products need to be competitive. So we understood few models and tried to build that how it can help us in becoming a bankable business model. So first thing is if you are still looking at solving needs, we just have to look over that and finally get into become and trying to solve what are more than needs that we can do to our customers. So every year we know that global brands, they launch products, be it incremental increase in their current products, that's not a problem, but still we need to increase those products life cycle or the quality of the product in any of the parameters which you consider, so that we can solve the pain points of the consumers in that context. So adding to that, just not restrict ourselves to the most cash cows which we have in our product portfolio, but keep on innovating those products. It's a myth that innovation cannot happen for everybody. It is possible. The only thing is we need a mindset that we can do it. So one tip what we could MSMEs can consider doing is that they might be having an idea, but they may not be able to implement it. So they can consider tying up with any product design institutions. Now India has good number of schools which have come up. We have one in Hyderabad also for Watson and many other government national product design institutions, Ashoka University. So they will be more than happy, academia and people to work on the projects to tie up with MSMEs so that the product finally comes into market. So next thing I would like to discuss is about process. So even Lakshmi Gaur was saying one of his clientele, well, he was not identified. It is more about process rather than the outcome. So whenever we are going wrong, forget about end results. Kindly make it more precious time to spend on what process we are doing. first thing to get in all these things to in a proper manner is we do everything in oral orders, oral work orders, oral designation of works. So if we can avoid that, oral agreements, oral contracts. I have many clients which they say they don't have product work order visibility because just for the matter of the fact because it is the orders are on oral. Even a jewelry manufacturer who can supply to major retail chains, they work on phone or maybe maximum a message, a WhatsApp message. So it was little bit surprising that we should change our systems so that this what helps when we are looking when an outsider like when an investor or a financial institution is looking at your business, this kind of nitty-gritties will bring them down in terms of what happens to money. How can I track my money once it goes to in the client's place? So this the other things what we can improve easily with little effort is quality circles and have one simple metric which I would try to suggest is to have a track of how many suggestions that all of our employees made it and how many of them were we able to implement. So in our size, it is important all of us to consider that growth is imminent. If we are compact with our, say for example, I'm getting some couple of orders from 1 or 2, 3 players and I'm okay with it for next 2, 3 years and I'm doing a turnover of say 5 to 10 crores and I'm okay with it and there is no growth. When does growth stops? For any living beings or organism, growth stops only when you're dead. So when we have to decide that growth should be either ways. It may not be on top line, it may not be on profitability. It can be in our R&D, it can be in our people, it can be in our process, it can be in our products. So we need to understand that we should have that trends in our size of business and try to move from certain level of the area of challenging business environment to making it more competitive. So in that journey, what is more important is as original equipment manufacturers, say for example, large players, they try to involve tier 1 suppliers. They help in building the plants, they help in designing their process, they help in designing the standard operating procedures. Their ends, but the tier 1 suppliers are only maybe in hundreds, whereas tier 2 and tier 3, which predominantly SMEs fall in, are in thousands. So in that context, the role of a tier 1 MSME, I mean predominant medium size should help micro and small enterprises in terms of making their operations more professional. So this. So finally, we get into people. So there's a quote which Sri R.C.R. Bhargavji, the chairman, Maruti Suzuki says, to achieve manufacturing competence, the most valuable asset is the people. Yes, there is no other alternative for this. We need to invest in our people. And how do we invest it? This framework, product, process, people, there is a lot of clutter from where should I start and where should I end it. So it is, if you can just remember these 4 words, product, process, and people, and for what purpose we are in the business, this will ultimately be covered with professionality and profitability that will help making your business. I'm not talking about business model, like say business models can be like say manufacturer, trader, franchisee, retailers, e-commerce, marketplace. No, what I'm trying to do is trying to help you with is build your business such that it is bankable to people, it is bankable to your consumers, vendors, investors, and bankers. So you should have bankable processes, you should have bankable people, and at the same time bankable products. So any skill set or any, for that matter, any job that needs to be done in a company can be classified into only 2 categories. Does it require a technical capability or does it require managerial competence?
Sandeep, one small request. He's able to, do your share screen. Can you tell me in which page you are so that,
People. Yeah. Move on. Yeah. That's it. So if you can, Yeah. So what I was trying to say is the model. So we have products, process, people. So we discussed about products, how we should be competitive, process, how we can augment it so that we can depend on process rather than end results on claiming on certain people. So in the current context, our competitiveness can be increased only on investing on people. So I was trying to say that any job or any assignment that can be classified into only on two categories. One is technical capabilities, and the one is managerial competence. So if we can identify this job requires a technical skill set or a managerial competence, it 99% of a job is done. The next remaining 1% is delegating that job to the technical personnel and managerial competence personnel. That's it. So in that context, all the promoters, MSME owners, should have inculcate that growth mindset. We are in a very beautiful juncture where geopolitical tensions has made us once again in the limelight. Of course, other countries in the Asia Pacific region may be doing well, but we have both the domestic market at the same time enough opportunities to export driven economy. So in that context, we should help inculcate this growth mindset in the workforce and see that workmen can participate in our growth story only when they believe that the part of the wealth created by the enterprise will be shared with them. If the kind of the behavior, if the promoters are like more of grandeur with more grand cars, palaces, it does. Unfortunately, many stalwarts feel it doesn't suit Indian context, where we traditionally have been not so maintained that divide will automatically be there. Workforce will not feel that the company doesn't belong to me. So
Sandeep Garu, you have 1 minute time, sir. 1 minute time, sir.
We are done. So we have to understand this and move on to help workforce come along with us so that we can. So finally, I'll skip this, Sunny. So we'll just have, I'll just go to CMR. So in this context, we have civil MSME rank, very important for all the MSMEs. It is a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being the highest and 10 being the lowest. It is developed by an algorithm, more than 50 algorithms, which help us. It is a continuous process. Every MSME who has a loan from 10 lakhs to 50 crores, or their financial transactions, firmographics, or everything related to the credit behavior and liquidity is captured, and you are given a rank from 1 to 10. Primarily, this rank, any credit rating for that matter. I'm a credit rating consultant. I'm not a CMR consultant, but we can very well extrapolate to this to MSME rank. It all depends on ability of the MSME to pay on time and willingness to pay on time. If we have, are we able to generate enough cash flows to pay on time, and are we are willing to pay that on time? So just move back this one. So here I would like to give one single tip for all of us to see if always prefer major financial institution. The first priority should be always banks. So, and the second should be maybe NBFC. For any small requirement, do not go to any other very not known market in the player where you require finance. That will automatically get captured. I'm not saying this is part of the model, but this kind of behavior, financial behavior, will attract lowering your MSME rank. So with that, I'll just close it, and I just have two book recommendations for all the MSMEs. For bonus, one is by Getting Competitive by R.C. Bhargav. Another one is EO Factory by Sudhir Sitapati. Thank you, and regret the inconvenience. I don't share my.
No, thank you very much, Sandeep Garu. I think due to some technical glitches, we extended about 2 minutes time.
Yeah.
No problem. We request our next speaker, Balbim Garu, should take over it. We'll have a question answer session at the end of this first speaker, sir. You can join us. Ms. Balbim Garu?
Karthik, you have to share the screen.
Sir, Mr. Balbim Vaidya Garu, please.
Yeah.
I will share.
Karthik, I have sent the PPT.
Yes. 1 minute. I will share.
Yeah.
Balvim sir, you are speaking on mute.
Sorry. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Today, I would like to dwell upon mainly about the government-sponsored schemes, especially for the startups, as also those who are already into the line of business. Right? Can you share the PPT, ma'am?
I'm doing, sir. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there?
Next page, please. Next, please.
Next slide, please. Yeah.
Yeah, the first scheme is about the PMMY, or popularly called as Mudra Yojana, or PMMY thing is Pradhana Mantri Mudra Yojana. So this was launched by central government in the year 2015, and since then all the nationalized banks and perhaps some private banks are also, they have been implementing this scheme in its true spirit. And under this scheme, the minimum amount starts from 1 to 50,000, whatever it, or even less also, with a maximum cap of 10 lakhs. So under this scheme, the loan can be given in the form of a working capital or term loan. The term loan is for the purchase of equipment or any machinery required. So this working capital is renewable normally over a period of 1 year, but should the entrepreneur require that, it should be on a repayment basis, so it can be given up to a maximum of 3 years working capital. But however, the term loan which is given for the purchase of equipment or machinery, it can be given over a period of maximum of 5 years. So the present rate of interest that is charged on this mudra is about 10.5%. It keeps on changing. Nowadays, the interest rates are seeing only on the lower side. They are coming down and down day by day as per the RBI rates prescribed. Under this scheme again, there are three variants like Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun. Shishu is up to 50,000, whereas Kishore is from 50,000 to 5 lakhs, and Tarun is from what is called 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. So maximum amount of that is 10 lakhs can be given under this Mudra scheme. So under this Mudra scheme, anybody can be a borrower, right from an individual to any institution or SHG, this thing. Next slide, please. Next slide.
Yes, sir.
Next, please.
Yes, sir.
And one thing I forgot to tell you here about Mudra is you can always download this Mudra application. If not got, I will tell you the web address mudra.org. If any of you want to note down, can kindly note down mudra.org. So under this, you will find that application, and you can submit your application to the nearest branch where your unit or business location is. located, so that they will take up for further counseling and sanction. And the next is about Stand Up India scheme. Under this scheme, any woman or SC/ST, they are eligible under this finance under this scheme. That is, woman can be either SC/ST or even a general candidate. So under this scheme, the maximum amount that can be given is up to 1 crore, that is 100 lakhs. Minimum amount is 10 lakhs and maximum is 100 crores. And what all these schemes I am right now telling is without collateral security. Let me tell you again, all the participants, whatever this scheme is now being explained is without collateral security. And under this scheme, a maximum repayment period of 7 years can be given. And under this scheme also, the present rate of interest is EBLR, that is external based lending rate, that is now presently at 6.75 plus 3.25, so 10% as of now. And under this scheme, the minimum margin is 10% and maximum that can be insisted upon by the bank is 25%, depending on what's called activity and borrower's capacity or whatever it is. And under this, either Mudra or Stand Up, let me make it very clear that no subsidy. However, under this, all these schemes, 2% interest subvention is given by the central government on the interest applied during the financial year. Let me explain very clearly that suppose 10% is the rate of interest charged to you, for example. So, proportionately, they will calculate what the interest rate which works out to 2%. So that 2% interest rate will be reimbursed by the government and will be credited to your respective loan account as at the end of March every year. And this Stand Up India loan also is given either for working capital or for term loan, or it can be, the best thing is it can be a composite loan also. It is a mixture of working capital as well as term loan under one roof. And the web address for this is standupmitra.in. I repeat, standup, STANDUP, Mitra, MITRA.in, standupmitra.in. You can download this website, take the application. You can also see what are the terms and conditions in detail if you require. And next slide, please. And the next thing is about CGT MSE, that is Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Under this scheme, all things remaining constant, here the maximum loan that can be given is up to 2 crores, especially for starters and also those who are in this thing and who are not able to provide what's called collateral security. So the basic difference between Mudra, this Stand Up India, and this scheme is also collateral free with a maximum cap of 2 crores. But however, under this case, under CGTMSE cases, a fee of 1.8% on the outstanding as at the end of 31st March every year is charged as a fee which will go to the CGTMSE or corporation or CGTMSE. The only basic difference is up to 2 crores, no collateral security is insisted upon. But in all the other cases, wherever primary security is created, that will be automatically hypothecated or this thing to mortgage to the bank. Next slide, please. Next, please. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. The next is about PAPGP, that is Prime Minister's Employment Guarantee Program. Under the scheme, again, the maximum cap is 25%. However, a margin money or otherwise known as subsidy also up to 25% for SC/ST and 15% for general candidates is available. And this The maximum cap here again is 25 lakhs. Either it can be in the form of a term loan or it can be also in the form of a working capital. And it can be given to individuals. And here, the whole lot of different things you have to apply online. I will tell you the web address, kvickonline.gov.in. If you apply going through this site, automatically the application will be processed, appraised by the concerned branch nearest to your location of the business unit, and it will be you'll be advised within a maximum of 3 weeks from the date of your application, subject to other your civil KYC all clear. So it is also a composite term loan. That is, it can be in the form of a working capital or a term loan or inclusive of both. The only thing here is a subsidy or margin money, whatever you call it, is available from the Government of India, that is KVIC, the Village Industries Corporation, to the extent of 25% for SCSTs and 15% for general candidates. And any sort of unit can be can come up under this scheme. But the thing is, I repeat again, the website address kvickonline.gov.in. And apart from this, I don't have slides, but still, for the sake of benefit of the participant, there is one more scheme called CLP, that is Contactless Lending Portal. Contactless, I repeat, CLP, that is Contactless Lending Portal. So, under this scheme, if you apply online, you will get a in principle sanction within 59 minutes of your application. And once you get the in principle approval through the site, you can take that application to the nearest branch or wherever you have fought for, so that they will appraise, process, and do the sanction within 1 week from the date of your submission of the in principle approval. And that is mandatory for all the banks. And I give you the what called the best part of it is, the only thing is we require ABS, that is audited balance sheet for the last 2 years. We require what statement of account for a minimum of 1 year, any nationalized bank or SBI, whatever it is. And you should be a GST registered institution or firm. And the GST should have been submitted for a minimum period of 1 year. If you have these 3 requisites, you can apply online and get the principal sanction without anybody's intervention. You need not require any this thing. And again, this also is collateral free up to a maximum of 5 crores. But the thing is, basic criteria, because all these are government linked sites, that is your audited balance sheet should have been submitted to the district, and then statement of account and also GST. So automatically the sanction amount will be generated through the system, and this in principle approval, you take it to the nearest branch or nearest to this thing, then they will give the final sanction, and also disbursement will be made within a maximum of 1 week from the date of your application. And one more scheme I would like to tell here, but I don't have the slide for that right now. The thing is e-mudra, that is electronic mudra. This perhaps can be told about the people who are hawkers, who are street vendors nearby you, or so that this is also what is called system generated approval and sanction. Here, anybody having a account with SBI and also the recorded address is within the 5 kilometers radius of that particular branch, and also unit is located within that radius of 5 kilometers, they can apply online and get up to 50,000 amount credited to their account within 15 minutes of their application through the site. I will read out the site address, that is emudra.sbi.co.in. emudra.sbi.co.in colon 8044:8044 So within 15 minutes of your application, if you fulfill the criteria of the business location being within the area of the branch where you have the account, and also your Aadhaar number, whatever it is, given to the bank, is matching with that area, then you will get the sanction within 15 minutes of your application. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You're on the correct dot time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So I request Ms. Gurjeet Kaur, you can take up your session.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I'll try to keep it short and concise.
Not audible.
Yeah, little louder. Yeah, now little louder.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me as part of this esteemed panel. Karthik, would you be able to share? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm doing.
I mean, I can see people that they're not able to hear me. Am I audible?
I think he's connecting now.
You need to be a bit louder. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone else can probably put on mute. Maybe there is disturbances coming. Yeah, thank you. I'll just, meanwhile, gets the presentation on, the slides on, I'll introduce myself. My name is Gunjan Kaur. I currently head the business unit for Open Money. Open is the neo-banking platform for startups, SMEs, and freelancers to automate the business finance, to manage the business finance end to end, right? So when I say business finance, right from creating invoices to collections to making payouts to vendors, accounting, expense management, and compliance all together, right? So I'll talk a bit about neobanking and what exactly is this, neobanking, challenger bank. We all have been hearing about. Some of you might be new to it. So I'll take a step back and maybe start with the basics of it. So Karthik, you'll have to move to the next slide. Yeah. So the digital only banking models that I have presented over here are across the world, right? It's not just in India. I'll tell you what works well in India, and currently the digital only banking model in India, how does it work? So the licensed digital banks, which are primarily, the ones who have got the licenses, the virtual digital, the virtual license issued. It is a proposed thing to RBI, but right now it doesn't. It's not permitted in the Indian jurisdictions. It is prominent in UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, where they would have. The services are provided digitally with no or minimal physical point of contact. The branches are not there, the bank branches, but the licenses that are issued are for conducting banking operations digitally or virtually, right? So that is the model A, which is there outside India. It is not currently under the Indian jurisdictions, or our current infrastructure doesn't allow this. Regulatory authority doesn't allow this, but it's a proposed thing. I think the future of it would be maybe 5 years down the line would be mostly along the lines of the virtual bank or the digital banks, the licensed ones, right? Now, model B, which is the digital unit of existing licensed bank. You must have heard about by SBI or 811 by Kotak. That is the model B currently India is operating on, which is of the existing licensed bank. They are leveraging technological solutions to target the tech-savvy customers. When I say tech-savvy customers, it would be again the MSME startups, freelancers, to deliver banking services, right? The model is pretty much prominent in India. We have seen examples of YONO and even DigiBank by DBS as well, like some of the examples under operating in model B, which is the digital unit of existing licensed bank. Now the third model is the interesting one. Open, we were launched in the year 2017 and primarily operating on the partnership model, which means that we work in tandem or ride on the banking license of the traditional banks like ICICI, Axis, Yes Bank. We've partnered with along 18 odd 18 plus banks in India, and we're planning to expand outside India, specifically in the Southeast Asian market. The bank account that MSME or a startup or a freelancer or an individual gets in Open is actually powered by the partner banks who are licensed one, because currently Open doesn't own its own license, the banking license, but it rides on the banking license of traditional banks. But on top of that, those banks lies the digital financial services that automates the business finance functions of the MSMEs, right? So these are the three models that currently operates across the world. The licensed digital banks is not currently in India. It doesn't operate in the Indian jurisdictions. The model B and model C that you see, which is the digital unit of existing licensed banks, as well as the neo bank, which works in partnership with the traditional licensed banks, is what we ventured into 4 years back. And now mostly in the neobanking segment, there are very few SME focused neobanks. Now there are players incubating or even mushrooming in the consumer segment, right? But for businesses, there are hardly any. For example, Open is the world's fastest growing SME focused neobanking platform. And in India, we were the first one to launch it. Karthik, we can move to the next slide. Thank you. I think we've covered this almost. We can move forward. You can move to next. Yeah. So I think I've covered this, but to give you some numbers as to where we stand right now, we are a 4-year-old startup, currently around 1.5 million, which is around 15 lakhs MSME startups and freelancers. They use Open for managing their business finance and for their business banking. We conduct $24 billion of annualized transactions, and we are adding close to 50,000 businesses every month. And Visa is a global partner. Like I mentioned, that around 18 plus partner banks are already collaborating with Open to provide these ancillary digital financial services to their end customer. Now, primarily, any user who's coming onto Open, of course, these are business owners. It could be, when I say individuals, these are business owners. It could be a homepreneur. It could be an influencer on YouTube. It could be a social media influencer, on LinkedIn or maybe any other platform as well, who are trying to do their business. And India, if you see, it's the fastest growing gig economy as well. But MSME as well, if you look into, now given the pandemic, because they were push to sort of go digital, we have seen that the pace at which the MSMEs are adopting these platforms have increased and got accelerated with pandemic and COVID-19 hitting all of us. But to tell you, again, to summarize, what we do is we bring all together with the business finance functions together, but the core of the entire platform or Open remains the Open business account, which is provided in collaboration with the partner banks that are licensed. And the account comes along with the business Visa card that helps these businesses segregate their business finance from their personal ones, because typically they end up using their personal credit card, for startups or even freelancers as well. Even MSMEs for that matter, sometimes, because there are traditional approach of getting loan or even credit as well followed, which is why mostly the businesses, they use their personal credit card for business purpose. So Open business account comes integrated along with the Visa business card, and that is the core of the product. On top of it, everything lies, which is altogether the business finance functions like invoicing, payment collection, payouts to the vendors, or even paying salaries to your employees, or managing your expenses, business expenses, or even accounting and compliance very important, right? Because India today is a hub of 63 million MSMEs, out of which around 12 million I think are GST registered, right? And tax and compliances remain a very imperative function of business for managing the business finance. I think we can move to the next slide, Karthik. Thank you. So here I'll take a moment to explain you how does the MSME financial landscape looks like and where is it broken, right? Today, if you look at any business conducting a business, there are multiple business functions like, you know, invoicing, collect payments, expense management, accounting, and compliances as well. Most of the time, MSMEs are connected with different vendors, and their banking is not integrated along with the financial management tool. For example, I might be using an accounting software for managing my business function, but my banking, I'm not able to link my bank, or I'm not able to link my banking function along with the accounting. I might be using a payment gateway like a PayU or a RazourPay, anyone, right? But again, how do I feed all of these data? Because my fund transfer happens, you know, the fund movement happens in the bank, but the document flow, which is the invoice and the bills generation, it happens in the accounting platform. And there are many a times there are standalone invoicing softwares as well, or platforms as well, that MSMEs are using to you know, create the invoices as well. It's each of these business finance functions are segregated, disjointed, and it do not talk to the banking aspect, right? Which is where we keep open business account as the core, and on top of that, the digital financial services rights, right? So one being that multiple legacy systems are there, which means that today, if I'm collecting a payment from a customer, it hits my bank account, but how do I know that this payment has been made from customer A, right? If I'm managing around 10 customers, it is easy. But then, you know, if there are thousands of customer, manual reconciliation is next to impossible. It takes around, on an average, 40 to 45 hours a month for an MSME to to do the reconciliation, because in bank statements typically it's the UTR number, and with only the UTR number you would not be able to figure out. So what Open has done is keeping the business account at the core, which is in collaboration with the partner licensed bank, provides the automated reconciliation functionality, meaning that any customer that has made the payment to you, you have full visibility who has made how much payment and when. And your bookkeeping engine is automated and open, which is where the cash flow, the visibility of cash flow is what you have, right? Your income and expense all gets generated on the go, because you're categorizing it, whether it's a sale transaction or a purchase transaction, right? So you create your invoice on Open, you can collect payments from your customers, you can make payouts to your vendors, to your employees, and all of these are categorized and fed into the bookkeeping engine or the accounting module of Open, and that is where we call it, you know, automated accounting. So when I said business banking is broken, is because currently manual ways are being followed in terms of reconciling payments. The MSMEs, they bank very differently, and I think with neo banking space, or with all of us moving towards in this journey of digital transformation, the likelihood is that we are going to reach the UPI moment in the business space, you know, for B2B payments as well, I would say, where MSMEs would rely on one platform to manage their business finance together, right? How many of us initially we used to use bank accounts for making peer transfer, because you add beneficiary, you then wait for the cool off period to get the beneficiary added, and then make the payments, or collect the payments as well. And that is where we are moving that. And then then when the UPI happened, all of us started using that. But I don't think people usually use Google Pay and Phone Pay or Paytm as well, for that matter, for making peer-to-peer payments. Also because of the fact that the convenience that is being offered across, right? So that is one thing. But one very important point is that this would all work together as a part of financial inclusion, right? So that is where we are approaching. And to highlight a few things, like independent accounting system, separate payment gateway, no automated way to manage employee payroll and all, are some of the challenges that MSMEs segment are facing. I think we have a comment in the chat box, but maybe I'll attend to it. I'll revert to it after I'm done with this. Would that be okay? Okay, so I'll definitely take this one, but after I'm done with the
yeah, absolutely, no problem.
Yeah, sure. So we can move forward, Karthik. Yeah, so that's how the dashboard looks like when, that's where Open comes in. The Open business account is integrated along with the Visa business card that you see. It acts as both dual card, credit as well as the debit card as well. But we have now segregated it and positioned it separately. One is that Open issued credit limit basis the transactions that you conduct on Open. There are various, and specifically when it comes to evolved MSMEs, right? They bank with multiple banks. Many a times we have got MSMEs who have linked around 50 odd bank accounts in, because that's the functionality that we offer, that we link all of these bank accounts together, and the accountant or the finance person who's managing the finance saves a lot of time going to each and every net banking portal, taking the payments from there. Payments as a business finance function, I would say, is sort of has been commoditized. But at the same time, now the business, the MSMEs are banking in a very different way, because consolidation is the key over here, along with the fact that banking becomes integrated along with the other business finance functions. So in Open, what you could do is you can instantly, there's no cool off period to wait for the beneficiary to make the payouts. And at the same time, while you do the vendor payouts, you can auto calculate your TDS and then make TDS payments directly from Open and download the challan, right? Today in Open dashboard, you can view your file GST returns, you can make GST payments directly, and we would also be soon be able to file the GST returns as well. All of these, like having the functionality of linking multiple bank accounts, managing your tax payments completely from Open, gives visibility, how much, gives visibility in terms of realizing the credit worthiness of the customer, right? So there are alternate data that we rely on to make MSME financing in ease, and issue credit limit or line of credit, a multiple other form of credits to them, right? Payroll, again, the kind of audience that we cater to typically has employee strength from 15 to 25, and banks usually, they have different prerequisites for issuing the salary accounts, or even processing payrolls as well. Even with 5 employees, you would still be able to have a complete holistic payroll platform for you to process salary payments to your customers. So in nutshell, what to summarize, Open business account and the Visa card helps you manage your business finance functions and automates it. I think automation is the key over here, apart from digitization, because the moment you initiate an invoice or initiate a bill, to make the payments to your vendor, you are able to categorize it, and your income and expense, reports are generated, your profit and loss reports are generated. So accounting clubbed along with expense management, everything comes together. And that is the key. The building of the financial operating system is the key over here, because banking comes integrated, and that is what is the base of the entire. So Neobank, just to repeat, it works along with the partner in India, and in the growth of the neobanks. I think last 2 years, but there are very few SME focused neobanks in India. Consumer banks, consumer neobanking, you must have heard about maybe Fi Money or Jupiter as well, but primarily Open remains the fastest growing SME focused neobank in the entire world. So pretty much that's it about Open. I think I can take questions if that is okay. There were some.
Yeah, you would like to.
Yeah, so Ms. Shankara had asked, it might seem to be archaic, but the fragmentation of the financial functions, mainly the payment or receiving service with the attendant online fraud, might be preferred than integration. What is your take on it? Or do we have a secure solution you suggest for it? So, Mr. Shankara, can you elaborate a bit on this? Is the question in the lines of
I
security?
can't hear you properly. Gunjanji, we can't hear you.
I think someone has not kept himself on mute. That there's a.
Yeah, can everyone? Karthik, I think you can mute everybody.
Yeah. Sure, Shankar.
Okay, sir.
Gunjanji, that's my question. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you elaborate more on your question? Is your question along the lines of security, like how secured these neobanks are?
Yeah, see, I am actually speaking from the point of view of the Google Pay and the Phone Pay, the recent fraud cases that we find. When you talk of actually integration of all these things, I mean, including our accounts, don't you think we are actually, impacting the operations and probably opening up the gates for the fraudsters? I mean, it sounds very archaic in the digital world when we talk about it. So my simple question is, if you're trying to integrate, how best we are trying to secure that process? And if you are actually trying to be segregated, fragmented, that could probably help, check these frauds and all. So what's your opinion? What's your take on it?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for asking. In fact, when we were launched in 2017, these were the questions that we got from our businesses and the users as well who were adopting the platform. Today as well, there are MSMEs using the platform. They might not know what neobank is, and these questions remain. Open. I've not heard about this bank, or do you have a license? The answer is no. We do not have a license. We work along with the banks who are licensed, but security part of it remains with the fact that because the bank, along with which we have partnered, the open business account that you see over here, it is riding on the bank which is licensed, right? So your money is secured because ultimately it comes under the regulated authority, RBI, right? Because the license is issued by them. So, and also given that we are conducting payments and payouts onto the platform, there are requisites, certifications that we have got, like the PCI DSS, which is important for the payment card industry, data security standards. That is as per the compliance, and ISO certified as well. But yes, very important question on security aspect. But the answer to that is the money actually resides with a bank which is licensed, right? And that comes under the jurisdiction of RBI. And of course, with lending as well that we do, because we don't have the license, we work along with the partner NBFC or the banks as well. We are partnered with Yes Bank, ICICI, Axis Bank, HDFC, to name a few. We are also in discussions with SBI. And if you have heard about, ICICI Bank Connect, right? Now that's a white label platform which is completely powered by open. Right, so it is both banks are our partners as well, and at the same time they're becoming our distribution network as well, relying on the security aspect of the entire platform, right, and disbursing and disseminating it across their merchants as well, right. The only difference is that open here becomes a bank agnostic platform. But if we are white labeling it for a particular bank, it lets you only connect that particular bank account, right? So that's the difference. But I think with the neo banking space moving and the reliability aspect of it, like I said, that maybe we move towards, because it's a proposed thing to RBI, we move towards the virtual, the digital bank license as well, the digital only banking license. So Starling Bank in UK operates on that model. So the future of banking could be that India, the RBI starts issuing the virtual bank licenses as well. Today, as of today, we work along with the partner banks who are licensed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I have one small question.
Yeah.
Application program interface, API banking. What is this? This is the neo banking, both are same?
Yeah, so a very interesting question asked. And in fact, on LinkedIn or anywhere today you go, API banking or banking as a service or embedded finance have been a lot spoken about, right? Interchangeably, it has been used, but there's a slight difference. So, for example, API banking has been there before as well in some form. For example, if an e-commerce merchant needs to create a payment gateway via an API, so that happens through API banking, right? And so is the case with buy now pay later. All of that happens through API banking. But banking as a service, and now because these are interchangeably used, we're moving towards an ecosystem where it's said that more and more non-financial service providers or non-financial entities would be launching their financial products. Now, for example, to give you a very basic example, Amazon launching Amazon ICICI Pay card, right? Zomato launching Zomato Edition card. People go to Zomato to order food, right? Not for only having a seamless payment experience, but Zomato launched it because for three important things. One being that they want to create loyalty for their customers, and secondly, create engagement of those customers onto their app. Right? How do I increase stickiness of my merchants or my users onto my platform? And the third is additional revenue stream, right? For example, Zomato Edition card, every time it's swiped, there would be an interchange fee that Zomato would earn. along, right? So these are the three aspects, which is where banking as a service or embedded finance right now would be moving it. There's a slight differentiation, but it has been interchangeably used how neobanks and challenger banks have been used. So that's the difference. And Open also, does that we help HR tech platforms. So for example, there's a payroll management software or any other. Today India is a hub of millions of softwares, right? How do you incorporate or not incorporate, I would say, how do you embed financial products into their offering is what is going to be the next stage of the finance or the fintech ecosystem, I would say. Every startup, or not just startup, it's been said that the embedded finance economy is going to be $5 trillion economy by end of 2030. So we will have soon more companies, following the trends of Shopify launching Shopify Capital, or Amazon launching Amazon ICICI Pay, or Zomato launching Zomato Edition Card, to sort of have their own embeddable financial products in collaboration with banks as well as the fintech players like Open.
I think you can have your video of your company you would like to play inside.
Sure. Karthik, would you want to play the video?
Madam?
You want to play the video?
Shall I play the video?
Sure. You can.
Okay.
Karthik, are you trying?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
I think this cryptocurrency will come in future, this FPTI banking, maybe in India. A cryptocurrency.
If there's any playing the video, what I'll do is
It's happening.
I'll also leave the link over here.
Can you able to?
Yeah.
There's no audio. Can you increase the volume, Karthik? It's 22% right now. Yeah. And maybe play it from the start. Sometimes it's easier to,
Let me know once how the sound is.
Yeah. You can start.
That brings all the banking, payments, accounting, expense management, taxes, and payroll together. And at the heart of all of this is your open business account, the one that's linked to your Visa business card. And just add your customers on Open and create and send a branded GST compliant invoice in minutes. And once your customer receives the invoice and makes a payment, you will be notified instantly. Payment will be operating side. You can also create bills and make payouts to vendors in minutes. No more waiting for hours to make payments to no beneficiaries. And yes, invite your team over to stay on top of all their spends. Get an overview of the entire business financial plan. Make direct TDS payments and GST payments from this one account. And yes, connect all your existing bank accounts and manage them to one single dashboard. One solution that brings all your banking and business finance together. Because together is better.
Can I stop, madam?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah. Now, I request, I think our question answer session, we have not much time as such. I think I request our Honorable Secretary, Sri Ravikumar Jain Garu, to give a closing comments and vote of thanks. Sir.
Thank you so much, Rajendra Prasad Garu.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. I think such a comprehensive session, every aspect of banking related needs, from compliance to what banks can do to what new age technology fintech firms are offering. I think it's very, very powerful and very beneficial for MSMEs. Thanks, Rajendra Prasad Garu, for planning this and organizing this. Very informative. Gratitude on behalf of HMA MC members, our President Kavita Garu, Vice President Ramchandra Garu, and convener of MSME subcommittee Rajendra Prasad Garu, and myself. Heartfelt gratitude for sparing your time this evening and sharing your thoughts on this valuable topic, which is of significance to all. Gunjanji, Murtiji, and
Sandeep and Balbim ji.
Sandeep ji, let me put on record my gratitude for the session today. It was very beneficial. I'm sure all the participants have enjoyed. Look forward for more conversations going forward. Especially Balbim Garu has been supporting HMA by his involvement as advisor and also, actively suggesting things to us. We look forward to your support going forward. Thank you so much once again. Have a great evening. Namaskar.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
A big round of applause for all the speakers today. Yeah, Karthik, you can close the meeting. Karthik, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm closing the meeting. Good night to all. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Good night.